Hi, everybody. Content warning for this episode for discussions of sexual assault pertaining to what's happening in this episode of Veronica Mars. Right. Other than that, thank you very much and enjoy. Hello and welcome in, all you O-Niners, PCHers, junior private detectives, Hearst College whatevers, and ex-boyfriends taking bats to cop cars to Life on Mars, the Veronica Mars Rewatch podcast, where we go through episode by episode. I'm Brenton.
And I'm Emily.
We're here to talk about Season 3, Episode 9, Spit and Eggs.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
Would you take a bat to a cop car for me?
Yes.
Oh.
With much consternation. And I would probably find a different way to get arrested and beat up the dude.
Would you get arrested to beat up the dude?
Yeah.
I feel like I would.
That wouldn't be my course of action.
No.
That would not be. There'd be other ways. It's like, damn. Well, he got fucking arrested. I'm really fucking pissed that he is this awful human being.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm not gonna. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, violence is never the answer.
No, the thought of getting revenge on this person, of course.
Yes.
But putting plan into action of getting my Louisville Slugger and bashing in a window, I don't think so.
I mean, only if you play Before He Cheats by Carrie Underwood.
There you go.
Carve my name into his leather seats. But I mean, like, doesn't really work for a cop car. You know what I mean? Like, there's no leather seats.
Oh,
There's plastic in the back.
Is the car about the song about beating up a car?
Yeah.
Okay, makes sense.
Dug my keys into the side of his pretty little souped-up four-wheel drive. Carved my name into his leather seats.
So, having only known...
Took a Louisville Slugger to both headlights, slashed a hole in all four tires. Maybe next time he'll think before he cheats.
Got it. Okay, so when... Having only known the lyrics that were the part about putting the keys in the souped-up four-wheel drive, I assumed that's like her putting the keys in the ignition and starting the car.
Oh, no, because I dug my keys into the side.
Makes a lot more sense. Yep.
And then she's like, I might have saved a little trouble for the next girl, because the next time that he cheats, it won't be on me.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
I love country music when it is women getting revenge on men. Earl had to die before he cheats, and now this Taylor Swift and Haim song. I guess
the Reba theme song.
The Reba theme song.
Mm-hmm.
Sing it.
Crap. Is it my feet are planted in the past? Though my life is changing fast. Who I am is who I want to be. Single mom that works too hard, who loves her kids and never stops.
There's no violence in this song.
A gentle hand and the heart of a fighter. She's a survivor because her husband cheated on her.
No.
We watched a lot of Reba in my house.
I'm thinking like Earl had to die.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Goodbye, Earl. That's where I am on the line. But we're not here to rank country music.
No.
Not today. Not any day.
It's a separate podcast. It's called Spurs and Cowboy Hats. No, better title. We'll come back to it. But
Spurs and Purrs? Like songs? I don't know.
Sure.
Just let it go.
Yeah, we're both,
we're workshopping.
Exactly.
Send ideas to marsrewatch@gmail.com.
They put us on the mound and we're only throwing balls.
Playing t-ball and we're facing the wrong way.
Kind of spin us around. But we are dealing with the episode that has a big time reveal that Mercer is the rapist.
Spoiler alert.
Yes.
What if they're watching along while we tell them the podcast?
I didn't know this was a watch along.
Oh my God, that'd be awful. I'd apologize if anyone does it that way.
That'd be brutal. This is not intended to be that.
It can be whatever you want it to be, though.
Yeah.
You don't even have to watch Veronica Mars. We don't give a shit. You do
exactly.
you.
Mm-hmm. Do whatever you want. It's not intended that way, so it might not like sync up 1-to-1. But yeah, it makes sense because it's like I don't know who else it would have been.
Yeah. Well, and we knew. Parker knew.
Exactly. Yeah, from the cologne scent. And it's like, yeah, it's probably a good thing that the shitty guy that has been shitty the entire time is
Bad guy.
yeah. But this also is, you may notice, you're looking at the episode numbers, you're like, wait, there's 20 episodes in this season. This is episode 9. What the hell? We've already resolved the main conflict. This isn't Veronica Mars. So they had initially, going into the season, wanted to set up 3 distinct mysteries. Because they found that the second season had diminishing returns with the season-long arc. So they're like...
Well, also because the season-long arc sucked.
Yeah.
If it had been a better arc, it might have...
Wrong lessons were taken. It was not the structure. But nonetheless, they decided to change up the structure. And they were going to have 3 separate ones over the season. But after this, they decided they were just going to do 2. And then later on, when we get down the line, the last 5 episodes of the season are all distinct, which we'll cover when we get to it. But that is at least part of the reason for that. This episode was actually directed and written by Rob Thomas, the only other episode he's directed other than Donut Run, your favorite.
My favorite.
Uh-huh.
Bye-bye, Donkey Tuesdays.
Would you like some background info on some of the directing for this?
I love background info.
They had roughly 15 minutes of Piz dancing at the party. And Rob Thomas was just as impressed as we were with his dancing. So he had to keep it in.
Yeah, I feel like that alone, like if they have that on the DVD extras or however you buy
right.
that now.
Just uncut.
Yeah, uncut Piz dancing.
Uh-huh. The band that plays at the party, they are a cover band called the Diamond Smugglers. And they're from Thomas's hometown of Austin, Texas, and they played at his wedding and his 40th birthday party. This man really loves the Diamond Smugglers.
Everyone's got a favorite cover band, right?
Apparently. At my work, people did. And I was like, is this a thing? People like this? I don't know cover bands. I'm sure they're cool, but like, am I weird for not having one?
Honey, I think you're just young.
Ah, that's what it is.
I mean, you were. Now you're old.
Mm-hmm.
Get it together.
Apparently, Logan smashing the police car at the end confused people on the crew. They were like, this is kind of weird, and we doubt that it's like plausible. But Rob Thomas was very pleased with it.
What do you mean it's not plausible?
Yeah, people just think it's like a weird move for him to like...
Get himself arrested that way?
Yeah, uh-huh. And that they would put him in the jail cell with him, I think.
They totally would. There was one holding cell.
Right. I think they just thought it was a weird addition to throw in. And apparently the Ask Me About My STD shirt that Mac wears, Thomas came up with the idea for a shirt and put it on, like created it.
Yeah, it's an interesting shirt.
Yep. And also Mac, who is back on this show after being away forever, which, you know, we've commented on multiple times. She was actually filming Big Love at the same time as this HBO show about I think Mormons at the time.
I've never heard of this.
Yeah, but it was pretty big, I think, at the time. Fundamentalist Mormon family in contemporary Utah that practices polygamy.
Oh. Mac has a real interesting resume.
She really does. Like, you could tell them about the discovery you've made.
So I follow many Instagram accounts just many in general, but many that focus on the early 2000s or the late 90s. And this one was showing like random movies from your childhood that like no one else remembers. And there's a version of Alice in Wonderland starring Child Mac, Whoopi Goldberg.
The Ben Kingsley was in it.
Yeah, it was just like the randomest collection of humans, and I had never heard of this Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah, I had never seen this before, never even heard of it.
Maybe we should watch every version of Alice in Wonderland.
Perfect. It's gonna be great. We start with the best, and then it's diminishing returns from there on in.
Which one's the best?
The animated.
Oh. I liked the Alice Through the Looking Glass movie as a kid.
I don't think I know that one, actually. Is that animated too, or is live action? Oh, well, there you go. Maybe there's more than I had credit for. This isn't the Tim Burton ones, right?
No, we were little. I used to watch this. Like, I had it on VHS as a kid.
Oh, that's cool.
A little scary because the Jabberwocky's in it because it's from the book.
Jabberwocky does sound scary. And my last note here is Ryan Devlin, who played Mercer. It's something of a theme here. He was unaware that he'd be the perpetrator, as they quote on Wikipedia, that he was the perpetrator until reading the episode script. Quote, "To tell you the truth, I'm not even sure the writers knew where my story was headed, but I was happy to do it. It's way more fun being bad than good." He's just trying to spin it.
They said I did something bad.
Yeah, really bad.
Was it feel so good?
But yeah, that seems to be a theme with the people that they make the bad guys on this show.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think they knew where they were going, and then all of a sudden, hey, I got this script, and you're a rapist.
I wonder, so I've watched many shows that have jumped the shark, including the original that jumped the shark. But
You knew before it was a trope.
But I mean, I caught it on the run, so it was already a thing, you know.
Yeah.
It's kind of, but shows like Pretty Little Liars, for example, like first 3 seasons, like cool murder mystery, plot moved pretty well. I really liked it. Then we just kept getting like random characters added in and twists that didn't make any sense, and people are locked in boxes and you know, it's terrifying. And I always wondered at what point, like, they had the plot for the first 3. So once they lost the plot, like, did they just not write a new plot and they just like went with it? Or was there a plot and then they were like, let's just, maybe we'll see where it goes.
Yeah.
What does it look like in those writers' rooms?
I feel like for murder mysteries especially, there's I feel like it's the same thing with like a Twin Peaks thing. You have the murder mystery set, and Rob Thomas kind of quotes this a little bit too about like the diminishing returns for like setting up season 2 and season 3. But you have that like core murder mystery, and it works really well because you figure out how everybody connects to the murder mystery. So then if that gets resolved, then you have to try and spin up a new mystery that somehow will connect all these people, but it isn't always the same because it's not like the same thing as someone really close to a bunch of different people that was in all their different lives dying. So then it just like, and you're doing it under a shorter amount of time usually than someone who's mapping out an entire thing. So it's hard.
Yeah. I for example, what was the original murder on Riverdale?
Right. Yeah, that's a great example. What's Cheryl's brother's name?
Oh yeah, Jason.
Thank you.
Yeah. That's
We are so far away. A man took off on a rocket in an Evel Knievel costume.
And Betty's dad was a murderer.
Serial killer.
Yeah. Not just a casual murderer, serial killer.
Yeah.
There's casual murderers. That is not true.
Casual murders. Yep, only on weekends.
Okay, but shall we dig into the episode then, or is there anything else we...
Nope, that was it. You know, there's just a lot of goodies on this one, so I wanted to bring that up before we jumped in.
Oh yeah, you dropped those little Easter egg nuggets, baby.
And they're going to land safely because I learned that in science class.
Exactly. So Mac and Piz opening scene. They're at a frat party. They're on the roof. They're having a great time. What's funny is we never come back around to this scene.
No, of them hanging out together.
On the roof.
Yeah, because then it doesn't make any sense why they are together when like shit pops off for Veronica.
And why no one went with her.
Yeah.
We flash over to Veronica, beat up, running to Wallace and Piz's room, banging on the door, bleeding face. Man in boat shoes and loafers walks up to her and says, like, Veronica, but you know, whatever. Like, is there to quote unquote help?
Yeah.
We assume.
And she goes, you. And then flashes away. All set to Fatboy Slim's.
Does she say you?
Yeah, she says you. Like you.
Oh, yeah. Like, oh, yeah. Good, it's you.
And it's all set to Fatboy Slim's Right Here, Right Now.
Thank you.
That's probably the one Fatboy Slim song that I'd listen to nowadays.
I have no idea what that is.
Fatboy Slim?
Yeah.
He does the song Praise You. I'd like to praise you like I should. Bam, 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 bam.
This feels like the time you told me that I'd know one of Beck's songs, then I didn't know any of Beck's songs.
This is nowhere near like that. If you missed Fatboy Slim, I'd understand. Like he's like here and there.
Still not forgiven for Beck.
Well, I couldn't wrap my head around it.
You argued with me.
But like they used yes, I did. They use Fatboy Slim now in like commercials and stuff. So
got it.
he was the electronic music that was like famous around this time and actually a little earlier. But
Got it. Okay.
yeah, big beat artist.
Got it. So then we go 2 days earlier. Beck is not playing.
No.
The
I'm a loser, baby.
The Lilith group is celebrating the end of the frats. They are the losers, baby. Veronica walks up to Logan.
Thank you for tying that together.
To say hi. Dick flashes the float. Logan goes, Veronica, I can't do this anymore. I didn't wait for you by your classroom because I just can't be with you and I'm practicing avoidance.
Pretty much.
I don't measure up to the person you expect me to be. I'm not built to wait on the sidelines. I can't just not be involved in what you're doing, and I can't not protect you. So we either have a little pain now or we have unbearable pain later. So I'm taking the pain now.
Yeah.
But I'll always be here if you need anything. Kisses forehead.
Did you get the script?
I wrote stage direction. Well, because forehead kisses are either condescending or comforting, and that one was neither. It was just I'm like, what? Just he's like, but then again, you never need anything. It also makes me laugh because like when people break up with people and then they kiss them, I'm like, at least it was a forehead kiss. But like, I have a really close friend of mine who every time she's broken up with someone, they've like made out with her basically. And I just they'll break up with her. Like she didn't break up with them. This isn't like she said it and they're like one last kiss. It's like they break up with her and then they kiss her.
I think I know who this person is, and it's oh no.
And it's just, and then she like in high school especially because like you're babies,
right?
She'd call me like I remember I was doing a makeup for auto shop, so I was in the auto shop after school getting my makeup like class in, and I was working on my auto shop teacher's engine block, and my phone rings, and we weren't supposed to have our phones, but it was after school, and I used to eat in that class. Like he didn't care what I did as long as I showed up and I followed the rules,
right?
In quotes. So I answer the phone, and I'm like there's people like drilling in the background, and she's like crying, so I like go to the bathroom to like listen to her cry, and she's like, and then he kissed me, and I was like, this one too, like this has been a thing in her life since before high school, and I just want to know why. Like if you're a man out there or a woman and you've broken up, anyone really, you've broken up with someone and then you're like one last good kiss, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, it is the same way that it's very, I don't think it's intentional how like telegraphed, like when Logan gives a speech about like save a lot of like hurt later, it sounds more like something that like someone outside of movies would do, that they're trying to imitate movies. I don't think that's the intention, but it definitely seems like a guy trying to be like, well, this is how they do it, this is what it's supposed to do. And I would think kissing somehow, like we kiss each other goodbye and then wave away.
But yeah, it strikes me as odd.
Indeed.
Also, they like will either be in a little bit of pain now or unbearable. It's this idea that romance has to be tragic.
Yeah.
That I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? The only reason why romance is tragic is because men don't know how to address their feelings.
Yes.
In this essay, the audacity of man.
This is a theme today. But yes, 100%. That's what this is.
It's the audacity of man.
Yep. Yeah. Logan, you don't know what you're doing.
You don't
in any aspect of your life.
Yeah.
Poor boy.
And like, well, but if you need anything, but you never need anything.
Yeah, I know. It's
and then she's like crying, and I'm like, what do you think she needs?
Right, you're just gonna
idiot. Support.
Ooh, yeah, big man making her feel bad as you walk away.
Or like, ooh,
hurting people.
It hurt me, and it's gonna hurt you, but you'll get over it because you always do, because you're tough, and I see you as an object and not a person.
Even though I know you won't, so I'm just gonna be mean on my way out.
It's just a dummy.
He is being a dummy.
Boys are stupid.
Agreed. Hey, yeah. As a boy myself, we're very dumb.
You can read my essay, "The Audacity of Men."
Bum 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 bum. Bum bum bum.
But so then we cut over the dean's wife comes in to see the dean. She changes cars with him because she wants the other car because she's going somewhere. And so he's stuck with the minivan.
Mm-hmm.
Weevil comes in. He fixes the dean's TV. It's all fun and games. We love that. We love Weevil.
Mm-hmm.
What?
So,
can I read you my next note?
Yes.
Mel, guy with cigar.
Yes.
Warts, frat.
Once. So Mel, who is the spitting image of like what you would think would be like a Don boss or a mobster boss in like TV, because he's like slightly like bigger built guy, and he's got like a cigar in his hand, and he's just coming in like all gruff, and he's just like, Dean, I think I donated enough to the college, don't you think? I think I want those frats back. I had a lot of good times here. So threatens the dean that he'll withdraw funding if he doesn't bring frats back.
But I did not write an N. I wrote an R. I
Warts.
wrote warts frat.
I didn't notice any blemishes or anything, but I mean, if he had something, then...
But I was just like, why would I... What is this?
He warts frat.
I usually have really good handwriting. I don't know what's happened to me. It's
quarantine.
I'm sorry. Then we cut over.
It's the biggest tragedy, really, is on your
My
penmanship.
penmanship. Don't tell my mother. She'll be so disappointed.
Don't listen. I'll cut this out.
Mom, don't.
Yep.
Nope.
Don't listen.
My handwriting is beautiful, and there's nothing you can do about it. So then I have Wallace and Mac are with Veronica at the food place. They're getting food. It's because it's set up like a cafeteria.
It is.
Have trays, but then it's like restaurants, and
it's very confusing.
yeah. And so she's like, "Stop being sympathetic towards me. I only told you that we broke up because I needed to tell you because
Right.
you're my friends and you'd notice.
I'm being tough.
Mm-hmm. I am a tough human, and I'm not going to let this person hurt me externally.
Mm-hmm.
But on the inside, I am dying.
Yeah.
I understand that. Me at that age, exact same. Like, oh no, I will not cry to you or in front of you, and I will keep this bottled inside.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like a trash can in here. We are rotting from
Right.
the inside.
We were being stern on the outside until we hit that shower.
Yep, exactly. So then Piz comes up and he's like, hey, guys, like, I'm all peppy and happy because I don't know what happened. And they're just looking at Piz like, please stop. And he's like, nope, no thank you. Gonna drive right through that stop sign.
Yep, forever putting his foot in his mouth because he can't read nonverbal cues.
And Wallace makes a comment about he's great at throwing a pity party. So I just loved it. Cause I'm like,
it's great.
Wallace, you can throw me a pity party.
These best friendship brigade right here.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe as we go into the end of 2020, it's a reminder. If you need to throw a pity party, throw a pity party.
Get streamers, get balloons.
Yeah, have a full ass pity party.
Mm-hmm.
Then feel that pity, and then we move.
Exactly.
I have the hiccups now. I'm so excited about the pity party that I got the hiccups. Then we cut over to the dean and Keith, and the dean's like, hey, Keith, I want you to look into my wife, and I would like you to find out if she's cheating. She's going on all these random work trips, and she's just disappearing and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Keith is like, okay, I shall do it. And then
he's like, I've been getting a lot of business about this lately.
yeah. This family just really got some issues.
Everybody wants me to look into cheating spouses.
And then Keith is like, okay, I'll go. And then Veronica comes home and he's like, hey, I'm going to head out of town. And then he's like, what's wrong? And she's like, oh, Logan and I broke up, but it's fine. You should still go. And he's like, I can stay. I can hold off, like put it off. She's like, no, go. And I'm like, yeah, it's great to stay at your home alone without anybody when someone out there is trying to drug you.
Yeah, that's the bigger issue there. It's not whether or not I'm feeling okay about being broken up with. It's whether or not I'm feeling safe about the person that shaved off a quarter of my hair in the back.
Mm-hmm. And so then he goes. Then we have Piz. He's doing his radio show. He always has a seat open for Dean O'Dell. Dean O'Dell never fucking comes.
I know. I did not know that this was a thing, but, I retroactively felt angry about it.
Yeah. I was like, you know what? Me too. Because
How dare you?
left space for the voice of the dean on your student-run Crossfire meets
Jon Stewart.
Jon Stewart. And I almost said John Edwards crossing over.
I'm getting something about a bill. A bill, does that sound right?
It's the paranormal meets Crossfire. And they're talking, and then all of a sudden the dean shows up for once to take a seat.
Mm-hmm.
And he's
We
like,
all cheered.
hey, there's a conflict of interest about this whole ruling around the frats. Like, one of the votes has to be nullified because the person owns the houses that the Greeks rent out or something
The
like that.
land, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So the Greeks are back.
Yep. Drops mic. I was so happy that Piz, maybe not even a semester into his college career, has a show as important to spread the news of the Greek system coming back that everybody on campus is tuning in and will know.
Well, I think they
Piz's
just
show.
have to listen because they're on campus in the cafeteria area.
Right, but I mean, like, he's got to be able to, like, spread this word out from there, right? And he knows, he's like, you know what? We'll put out the press release afterwards, but we're going to go down to Piz's show. We're going to announce it there. That's a big venue. People are going to know.
Mm-hmm. I love it. So then the dean is driving to his parking spot. The Lilith ladies egg his car and like shake his minivan, which is just rude.
He gets passed by all the frat guys in a giant Hummer dancing.
Keith comes back. He's like, Dean, I know you were worried about your wife and the man she travels with, Wally, but let me tell you, Dean, Wally is gay. Wally is not interested in your wife. They both went back to their personal hotel rooms and lived their lives normally.
Mm-hmm.
Dean's excited. He's happy. Life is good. Then we see that there's a classified ad that the next victim at the Pi Sig party is going to be at the Pi Sig party because the Pi Sigs are now back. So they're going to have a party.
Yep.
They originally were going to have a party that they were ending, and now they're having a party that they're staying.
Mm-hmm. As per these things go, if there's an excuse to drink, then you drink.
Mm-hmm. I went to multiple last night on campus frat parties. Multiple frats got disbanded during our...
As Jim Rome once put it, for the UCSB basketball team being in the NCAA tournament, if the Gauchos win, kegs will be tapped and couches will be burned out of the Vista. If the Gauchos lose, kegs will be tapped, couches will be burned out of the Vista.
That is a beautiful summary of that time.
Mm-hmm.
Except the frat houses were always, it's a little different. Like,
yeah, totally.
I rarely feel like I saw kegs at frat houses.
No, and actually, this episode does have it, but even this show doesn't really show kegs at frat houses.
Mm-hmm. Veronica has breakup bangs now.
Yes, you pointed this out. You're like, bangs.
Yep, that's what men have decided women do when things. Oh no, you cut your hair. You must have been going through something. I don't know. Maybe I just felt like fucking cutting my hair.
Totally.
You dye your hair, but like, oh, what happened? When I first went blonde, everyone's like, oh, are you okay? And I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
Does it look bad? And then when I went back to brown, because everyone at my new job then only knew me as blonde, they're like, are you okay? And I was like, this is what my head looked like before.
We were painting it. I fell headfirst into a tub of brown paint.
Thank you for asking. I actually did not mean to do this at all. I know it looks really professional and well done, but I just took some magic marker and went to fucking town one night.
And then I had Brenton fill in the
gaps.
The rest, yeah.
Or as someone who has bangs, I'm just like, can we stop making it look like maybe I had some trauma and just like talk about that maybe I like how my eyes look when they're framed by my hair?
There you go. Yeah.
I love your bangs right now.
Thank you very much. Cut them myself.
You did not cut them.
Yeah, that's why I have bangs.
But so anyway, Veronica gets her breakup bangs. So she's walking through the plaza and she sees Parker. She's like, Veronica, hi, come over here. Look what we have. We have these cool coasters that if you dip them in your drink, they'll tell you if you've been roofied, and they work for up to 10 drinks.
That is very cool. I thought this was very cool.
They make nail polish like that too. You can like dip in your drink.
Nice.
The mere fact that this has to exist is
yes.
a bigger problem.
Yeah. When I say very cool, it, obviously it'd be better if it didn't have to at all.
Veronica is like, ooh, can I have a bunch of these? I'm going to go tell the dean that the Pi Sigs need to have these to give out at the party.
Great idea.
She does. Dean says yes. Great idea. We cut over to our class. Tim writes on, so Veronica gets her paper back, her how to murder paper, how to commit the perfect murder.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which I thought she didn't have to do because she applied for the job, but I think she just did both.
Right. Because she doesn't want special treatment, I guess.
But I don't know.
Yeah. Doing double work.
She then, on her paper, she got an A. It says like, see me after class. Tim, the TA. So she goes to see Tim after class. His girlfriend is there. She is the girl we saw leave the Pi Sig's house when we were going through the trash looking for the Easter egg that had been in what's his name's butt.
Chip.
Thank you. And we're like, sus, maybe.
Totally.
Stay tuned.
Maybe this will come up later. Who knows?
Veronica is back at the house. She's eating soup. Keith comes in and he goes,
you know how I feel about soup. It's not a meal.
It's a side dish.
It's a side dish. Thank you.
Agreed. She's like, there's real food in the oven too, but also like some of us just fucking like soup. I kind of want soup now. Veronica then tells her dad about her criminology professor and Dean Odell's wife because she finds out that that's who he had been looking into.
Yep.
And she's like, Dad, are you going to tell him? And he's like, I have to. It's part of it's like our code.
Mm-hmm. The PI code. That's how he got sworn in. Yep. Sworn in. Yeah. Sworn in.
So then Veronica goes over to the dorms to see her buddy Piz and Wallace. She's like, are you going to the Pi Sig party? And they're like, yeah, of course we're going to the Pi Sig party. And she's like, cool, I've got a job for you. And they're like, fun.
Yeah, Wallace, obviously excited.
Mm-hmm. Wallace is like, okay, like, thanks. Like, and Piz is like, what does this mean? And Wallace is like, it means that you're not going to have the same amount of fun as you thought you were going to have.
This is no longer a carefree night, my dude.
Mac is also going with them. Veronica convinces her to come and help.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, I need as many eyes as possible. Keith goes to the dean to tell the dean about his wife. 'Tis sad.
Yes.
Big
Dean
sad.
Unhappy.
Big sad.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be too.
Totally.
Yeah. If you had an affair with the criminology professor, I'd be sad.
Yeah, absolutely.
Doesn't
even have to be a criminology professor.
Yeah, no, exactly. Keep your winky to yourself. And me. Keep your winky, to us.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You, me, that's it. No one else.
Can do. Yeah.
It's just more appropriate too for like, professional relationships and things.
Agreed. Leave my work at work.
Wouldn't it be like, I feel like if you're the criminology professor, it'd be like, man, like she's seen my boss's penis. Like, I feel like I would just think that was weird.
Huh.
I don't know why. Like, that's where my brain would go. I think that's why I'm not a fair material.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That makes sense.
Now we're going to go to the Pi Sig party. Veronica made Wallace, Piz, and Mac a present. She made them all fake IDs, so they're all 21.
Yay, they can all drink, but not because they have to keep an eye on everything.
Yeah, they get their cups at the door, and you show your ID, and if you're over 21 and you want an alcohol cup, it's clear, and then the red plastic cups are non-alcohol, or I might have that backwards. I can't remember. I can't
either.
The boys get their alcohol cups. Matt gets a soda cup, and Piz is like, what are you doing? And she's like, I'm not going to drink here.
Yeah. Dude, the entire reason we're here is to test for, like, drug drinks. So, like...
Yes. So they all are armed with their coasters so that they can go through and test the drinks of random girls if they see them looking too drunk.
Totally. But yes, I appreciate writing in Piz as being the dumb boy, as being a dumb boy that probably would have been like, why wouldn't you want to drink?
Well, you'll pour it yourself. Like, yeah, but if I have to run for my life, I can't be drunk.
Well, it wouldn't. It would literally just be like, I'm not doing it, and then you'd be like, oh yeah, you're right. Wouldn't take much coaxing. It would just be like, oh yeah, huh.
A guy at the front doors handing them out coasters, and Veronica's like, these are fake. These are printed coasters that look like the testing coasters but are not. And he's like, maybe not. You won't know.
Yeah.
We go into the party. There's a live band because it's a weird frat party.
Excuse me. It is the Diamond. Oh crap! Let me find them.
Never can find his diamonds.
Diamond Smugglers.
There you go.
Austin, Texas, everybody.
And then we get the Wallace and Piz scene.
Well, first, Veronica confronts Chip about the fake coasters and everything, and he's just being a creep in the corner. Just wanted to throw that in.
Yes. And then Wallace and Piz are out there doing security. I personally would love to have had Wallace and Piz be my security in college.
Absolutely.
They're going around. Every time a girl looks really drunk, especially if she's with the guy, they're distracting the people around them and then dropping a little coaster in to check the drink.
Yep. And Piz does some intense dancing to Sweet Caroline.
Mm-hmm. I mean, who doesn't do intense dancing to Sweet Caroline?
Yeah. He goes above and beyond. It's great.
Does. Max wearing a shirt that says, ask me about my STD. A guy with a flask comes up to her and he's like, do you want me to pour a little alcohol in your cup? And she's like, sure. So he pours it in. She drops the tester in. And it comes back that he was not drugging anybody. And so then she dumps it out. She goes, thank you. And I was like, that's really smart.
Yep. Fantastic.
Because I was like, oh, if you're not drinking out of it at all, like, duh.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, have them pour it in your cup and then test it.
Uh-huh.
So then we cut back over to a sad scene of Keith and Cyrus Odell.
Well, Veronica runs into Dick and Tim's girlfriend, Bonnie.
Yes.
Being assholes on the couch.
Yeah, they're getting frisky.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Being assholes too, Veronica. They're doing their own thing.
Yeah. So then we go back to the Dean and Keith is like, they're drinking together, but the Dean's obviously drinking heavily.
Uh-huh.
Keith is just having a nice little drink.
Dean drinking to forget.
Yeah, Dean talks about his fancy whiskey and how he won't open it because it's a special bottle, and he wants to, like, he's excited to taste that, like, fancy bottle, so just to pour him, like, the shitty drinks. And Keith's like, as long as you're not leaving, you can drink however much you want. And he's like, I'm gonna sleep here on this couch in my office.
Yep.
I'm like, okay, Dean, I get it, you get drunk.
Uh-huh. Exactly. Keith's like doing the responsible thing, like, up, where are you going? I will drive you.
Then Piz and Wallace find a girl passed out, and they call over the people who come pick people up, and the Lilith Society and that RA that lives across from Piz and Wallace.
Yes.
They come pick up the girl.
Yeah, they're like
take her back.
night guards or something like that, or like something. Yeah.
We get a scene too of someone in the Dean's office. We assume it's the Dean being depressed. Pulls a gun out of the desk drawer.
Yeah, he feigns sleeping to have Keith leaving, and then when Keith leaves, opens up a drawer, and it's a gun.
But is it him?
It is.
Are we sure?
Yes, because it shows him pull out the gun.
Oh, I thought it was just his hands.
No, because later is when we get the, like, oh, who's that in Dean's office?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I just thought, that's what I mean. Like, I thought it was set up to look like it was the Dean, but then you're like, oh, wait a minute. No, it's not.
Oh, no, it shows the Dean pulling out the gun.
Okay. The TA of Veronica's criminology class shows up at the frat party, yells at Bonnie. Is very kind of weird and creepy, and then says, like, yeah, I know you've been cheating on me too. And we realized that was probably the chart on the wall in his office was who she in the Pisig she'd been sleeping with, not who the potential rapists were. And you're like, what a sad waste of your time, sir.
Absolutely.
He's like, for every person you've slept with, I've slept with somebody. And it's like, an eye for an eye makes the whole world blind, dude. Just cut and run. Yeah,
she obviously doesn't care. You're wasting a lot of energy, man. It's worse for you.
Veronica sees Logan from across the room.
Mm-hmm. Sad.
They go over and say hi. It's awkward. Mercer's there.
Yeah, because she goes over and says hi, and then it pulls back a little bit, and it's like, oh, Mercer's here. Yay.
Mercer's like, I'm going to DJ soon. You better stay for my set.
Yep, club toilet.
Uh-huh. But then Wallace and Piz run over that they'd found a dosed-up girl. They found a dosed-up cup.
Yes.
they find out who she is and what room allegedly she's in. And so Veronica's like, we need to go save her. And Wallace and Logan end up going. So Veronica stays with Piz.
Because Logan's like, just let me do this, damn it.
You let me save you.
Pretty much. And it's like, all right, Wallace, you and I are going to... Well, does she tell him to take Wallace? I can't remember. But it's like something...
Well, I think Wallace says, I'll go with him.
Right, okay. And then we'll go... Yeah, we'll go, like, check on this girl and make sure she's all right.
Yeah, and, like, you know, if you got to get in fisticuffs, you want those too.
Totally. That's who I'd pick.
Yeah. Pick your fighter.
Let's see if I'm thinking about... Yeah, no. Logan, then Wallace.
Yeah. Because you've got agility and you've got brawn.
Exactly.
Then we cut over to the Neptune Grand. The dean shows up at the hotel room of his wife and the professor, who are together because they've been having sexy time. He does not shoot anybody.
No.
He just gets angry. Doesn't even show off the gun. We don't even know if he has it.
Yeah. We don't really know because it cuts away about what happens in this scene. But something happens.
And then Veronica, we go back to the party. She finds out that the girl who they were looking for actually wasn't at the party, and really she had lent her little sister her ID to be able to drink at the party. So then she finds out where the little sister's dorm room is, and she runs off to go to the dorm. Yeah.
And this is where...
Why did she not bring Mac and or Piz?
Exactly.
So I guess we can assume that this is when Mac and Piz went on the roof and were like, where's Veronica?
Right, I guess. But we never come back to it for us to place where they were. They're just gone. Because obviously they're having a great time at the party. So, they just got carried away.
Yeah, it's Mac and her. Let me tell you about my STD shirt.
Totally.
So then we get a reveal. Mercer walks into a girl's room.
Before that, we get a shot of the sheriff's office. They receive a call from the college campus that there's a bomb threat.
I wonder who that is.
Exactly. And Deputy Sachs is like, oh, we get those all the time around finals. Ignore it.
And the other guy working, the other officer's like, shouldn't we wake up the sheriff? And he's like, no, do you want to wake him up?
Do you really want to? Just another, like, in our long list of things of, like, why the police is not going to be there for you. And I think as, like, with something that they're making a point here, it's like, oh, they can't call, like, but you can't really call, like, that how police don't, like, take sexual assault seriously, so you have to call and try and make something up. But like just the general ineffectiveness of, like, local policing to, like, respond to, like, calls and crimes.
Definitely. Well, and I think it's like the idea of, like, how they always tell you if someone's trying to, like, hurt you or take you, like, you yell fire because people will look. People don't look when you yell no. People don't look when you yell stop. Which I think is just such a fucking tragic concept.
It really is.
Yeah.
Self-preservation, right?
So then Mercer goes into a girl's room. She's got a lot of unicorn decor for a college freshman. I'm not here to judge her. I like it. I'm a big fan.
Apparently it was some sort of in-joke. This is another piece of, production information I didn't talk about at the top. That there was a turn of phrase that Veronica uses in one episode, unicornucopia. And so there's this in-joke about unicorns in the writer's room. So they thought it would be funny to include unicorns in this scene.
Got it. So he's doing his weird creepy guy talk.
Yeah.
He is like, I'm gonna put on my radio show because that's how Veronica realizes that it's Mercer, because when the music comes on for his radio show, he's not there.
Right.
It just plays music through the speakers and has, like, fake pre-recorded calls.
Yeah, exactly. So reversing back and changing our original assumption that he had to be there because there was calls. Yeah, so it's all pre-recorded. So I don't really know how she puts that together in the moment.
Because she looks over at the stage and the calls are coming in and he's not there.
Okay,
I'd assume standing by the stage and it's, like, quiet, and then it's like, but, like, the music is, you know what I mean? It's like, oh,
yeah. Okay, that makes sense. So he was going to be doing the show from the frat stage.
Mhm.
Okay, I had assumed that he was like, hey, like, listen to my show later. I'm going to head back to the radio station on campus. But that makes much more sense because then I was like, how did you figure that out?
I think so. I think that's what it is.
Got it.
And Veronica hid the girl who had been drugged in her closet and is in the bed pretending to be the girl instead. So then she fights with Mercer.
Yeah, a really fucking tough scene to watch, not going to lie. Watching Veronica get punched in the face is rough.
She ends up stabbing him in the leg with a unicorn.
Okay. So not until later when it shows his wound when he's in the hall did I know that he got stabbed in the leg. I thought he got stabbed in the dick.
Oh, I thought I knew it's the leg.
Uh-huh.
The thigh.
When she originally went and stabbed him, I thought it was right.
I assumed that's what she was aiming for, and she missed.
Right. I thought she went straight, and so I even wrote that down in my notes.
Stabbed in dick by unicorn.
Yeah. What did I write specifically? Oh wait, right there. Stabs Mercer in the dick with the unicorn.
I mean, you know, poetic. She runs. We get a cut back to that scene we saw at the beginning of the episode. Her running, banging on Wallace and Piz's door. They're obviously not there. Their RA finds her. He's like, "Come into my room, have some tea.
Yeah.
Let's calm down."
And that's when we know things are gonna go wrong.
He drugs her tea. We find out that he's got photos on his walls that he's friends with Mercer. She tells him where Mercer is because she was all panicked when she got there. So he's like, I'm gonna go like make sure that girl's okay, and you just stay here. He locks her in his room. I don't know any dorm rooms that lock from the outside.
Yeah, totally. He's got a like an advanced lock on there.
She is drugged. She's freaked out. She's stressed. She's like, do I jump out the window? She opens the window. It's a little too high. She's like, I can't jump. She leaves the window open and she hides in the closet. She calls her dad. He doesn't answer. But she doesn't put her phone on silent because she's on drugs.
Yeah.
The boys come back. They think she snuck out. While she's hiding in the closet, all of the hair that's been shaved off the women falls on her.
Yeah. This like series of events is already like hard enough to watch. I found it really hard to watch. And just that on top of it seemed excessive.
Yep. They think she snuck out. She's in the closet. Her phone rings, so they catch her. She called her dad and like off his phone, so like he should be able to track it. But she blows her whistle because she's obviously like losing consciousness, and they're like they don't know what to do.
No.
Mercer goes to get more GHB.
So when the whistle blows, we get a scene of Parker hearing it. It cuts away to like Parker like opening up her door out of her dorm room.
She was like doing laundry or something.
Yeah, exactly. It was weird and not a thing to like laugh at.
I think you couldn't hear the whistle. I'm assuming it was like too high of a pitch for you.
I could hear the whistle.
When Parker heard it?
Not when Parker heard it, but in the scene before.
Yeah. But when Parker heard it, I think they did it at a higher pitch to kind of like be like, like she heard something and it's like faint.
Got it.
And so I'm wondering if like, because you were like, like how did she hear it? And
I was like, there's no whistle. It just looks like she like telepathically like. Which hey, I mean, I watched a show where like that shit happens all the time. But.
So Parker comes running. Mercer left. He needs to go get more GHB because they need to like really drug Veronica.
Yeah, it's like, oh my God, we're gonna get caught.
Let's drug her so she doesn't remember anything. Right,
because usually by the time I am being, extremely gross, these people are like these girls are knocked out.
Mm-hmm. Well, no, they're like, well, she's going to remember this. And like, we don't want her to remember it. So if we get her even like higher, maybe she won't remember this.
Totally.
Doesn't make any sense. Parker catches them because she heard the whistle, and she like all these boys come out of the rooms and she starts like yelling. And the RA's like, Mercer, what are we going to do? Mercer, what are we going to do? And Mercer's standing in the hallway bleeding with a horn sticking out of his leg. And it's just like, it doesn't look good.
No, And yeah, Parker does the exact opposite of what we were just talking about there, where she yells rape in the hallway and everybody comes running out.
Mm-hmm. I mean, in this case, the school was on high alert for that.
Totally, 100%. So that completely makes sense.
Yep. So then when she yells and they kind of run away, she runs into the RA's room to find
And
Veronica.
all the fucking guys are useless in the hall, just like, hey, you okay?
Yeah, just men things.
Uh-huh.
Just the audacity of man.
Maybe that'll be the episode title.
The audacity of man.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna come up in both of our podcasts this week.
There you go.
Next week for the other one. I'm just gonna be yelling about the audacity of man.
Mm-hmm.
So Mo, that was the RA's name. He we figure out that he was the one setting up for Mercer and would give Mercer the master keys and would drive the girls home.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like just to explain like how everyone's playing into this.
Totally. Yeah. Which I didn't, maybe we'll get it. I can't remember, but I feel like it's just like, what is him and Mercer's connection other than they're just like friends and weirdos, I guess. But I was just wondering if there's like, I thought I would remember them being related somehow, but
maybe.
Yeah, I don't know.
So we get a scene of Veronica at the sheriff's department with her dad, and he's like, you're supposed to evacuate when someone calls in a bomb threat. That's why she called in a bomb threat.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, like the sheriff will be in soon. He's like, I don't want to fucking see him. And then we get a scene back at the Mars household where Veronica's explaining.
Before that, because this is an important scene that'll set up our next mystery. The dean is back at his office somehow. And he's sitting there and he's noticing that eggs are hitting his window. And he's like, what the hell is that? And then all of a sudden we get something similar where he turns to the left and he goes, what are you doing here?
So now Veronica back at her house, she explains to her friends, Wallace, Piz, and Mac, what was happening, and like that Mo was driving girls home, giving Mercer the keys. Then Mercer was the one who was like doing the thing. Wallace is like, has Logan come by? Have you seen Logan? And Veronica's like, no, not at all. Because Wallace is a nosy little.
Yeah, but of course, yeah. Hey, well, he just wants to know.
Yeah, he's just curious about his buddy Logan. Logan, we get a scene.
Yep, buddy.
He has a bat and he goes up to a cop car and he smashes into windows because he wants to get arrested so that he can go to jail so he can go beat the shit out of Mercer.
Yeah, so then when he gets thrown in jail, he looks angry and Mercer's like, ah.
He's like, hey, man. It's like,
yep.
Logan's going to give him the old 1-2
Gonna
or
beat
whatever.
you. And before Mercer actually gets arrested, there's a scene of Keith tracking them down and Mo pulling the unicorn horn out of his leg.
Oh, yeah.
Which is nasty. And also something that Rob Thomas added. Before it was just going to be him bandaging his leg.
I hate it.
I hated it too, especially like there's a close up. It's nasty, squeamish for sure.
And then Keith loads the boys in the car, takes them to jail. Because Veronica had called off of Mo's phone, it was easy for Keith to track him.
Yep.
Because he didn't turn off his phone.
Yep.
So Logan goes to jail. He beats up Mercer, and then we get our final scene, which is the dean. Well, Weevil walks into the dean's office. Like, good morning, Dean. I'm ready to fix your satellite TV or whatever the hell it was that was wrong with the cable. And the dean is shot in the head at his desk.
Yes.
We assume by himself. It looks like suicide.
Quote unquote.
And that's how we end the episode.
Yep.
So nothing happened. It was pretty dull.
Exactly. Obviously this reveal is handled better than season 2.
And it's better than what they were setting it up to look like, where it's like, were any of the others fake?
Right. And I think that's where it gets complicated because they are fake. There were ones that were fake. So then it makes it even worse, almost, that like the Lilith House was doing this and there were real sexual assaults happening. Like, that's awful.
Well, I thought the only one that was fake was the one of Claire.
Was Claire?
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. That they were like they did like Claire.
Because it was Claire, so she set it up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Claire was in on it.
Mm-hmm. And that they're all in on it, which makes it gross to have that implication on there. That it's just like, oh, there actually was someone and you're all faking it to try and get a point, to try and twist things your own way, you evil women. It's really bad.
We could have skipped that episode and gone straight to this one and been fine.
Exactly. We didn't need any of that. You could, if you have them be as a red herring, then have them be as a red herring, and it's like, well, women don't actually do this. But they don't, because not responsible. But I think with like the shortened time frame on it, we only know Mercer as being like fucking awful all the time. So it's just kind of like, okay, of course.
Yeah.
There's not like a lot of like heft to this reveal that kind of comes off. And like I said, I think out of all of the, Veronica is in a bad place with the villain of the season, which I really, really hate. This is the hardest one to watch.
I think the one with Logan's dad is harder.
Okay.
Because he puts her in a freezer and he lights it on fire.
Right, and locks her. Yeah.
Yeah. He intentionally like suffocates her. Versus like this guy's like has obviously horrible malintent, but isn't trying to literally murder her.
Right. I think, yeah, that's true. I think I have a hard time, and I find it like scary when it's like escape only to land in the clutches of someone else. I think that is really tough. And I literally think the punch to the face and the physical violence that happens in that scene between her and Mercer is intense.
Oh yeah, it's gory.
But yeah. So yeah, there's that one mystery wrapped.
And Mac is back.
Exactly. So I'm really hopeful that we don't talk about sexual assault anymore, because I don't have the confidence in this show to continue talking about it.
No, obviously, the audacity of men.
Thomas.
Yeah, like I feel like I could never speak to or for about like, you know, like what's happened to Rob Thomas in his life, but I assume he does not understand what it's like to be a woman and to experience the threat and or the actual act of sexual assault.
Absolutely.
And I find it trivializing, and I find it, yeah, it's done in a way that is so much more for production than it is for like, you know, like any sort of like, I don't even like, sexual assault should not be your plot point, and it shouldn't be a character development piece.
Yeah. They are not trying to explore it in any way possible other than like adding some sort of
danger.
Extra danger to their mystery.
But that being said, we made it through.
Exactly. So here's hoping for greener pastures and Seniors in 3.
Yeah. All right. Shall we plug?
Yep.
When we are not talking into these microphones in our home, you can find me at butreallythough.com. Though is spelled THO. I am a life and career coach. I post free coaching content over on my blog and my YouTube. It's all linked over on that website. And you can also follow me on Instagram at butreallythough, BTRLYTHO. And when we are talking into these microphones, it's for our other podcast, But Really Though, spelled just like my website. It is a podcast where we talk about a variety of things. I'm going to be talking about the audacity of men the upcoming week. And by that, I mean I will be talking about men plagiarizing the work of women.
Yeah, interesting. But before then, this week, we talk about a matter of LND. Land.
And Pluto.
Yeah.
I talked about Pluto because I believe that Pluto belongs with planetary status.
Agreed.
I have no like astronomy experience in my life. Like I'm not a part of NASA, but you know, I have these beliefs and I'm sticking with them.
Exactly. Draw a line in the sand.
Exactly. I have opinions, man. I think, is there anything else I'm missing besides you?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I guess at Really Though Pod on Twitter.
Yeah.
You can find this podcast on Twitter and Facebook at Mars Rewatch. You can find me on Twitter at Pyle Breton. That's PyleBrenton. And you can also go watch our Let's Play. We're playing Mutant Year Zero over on the YouTube channel Burger Dish Course. And you can also email us. There we go. Found it. At marsrewatch@gmail.com.
Perfect. Stay toasted, marshmallows.